It seems like everywhere you look, everyone is talking about the new AI system, ChatGPT. And if you don't know what ChatGPT is, it's just a way of prompting an AI to solve or answer a question in a very human-like manner, similar to a search engine like Google, which some are saying, can ChatGPT replace Google? And Google owns YouTube, and perhaps it can possibly replace YouTubers like myself? Well, today we're gonna put it to the test. I'm gonna be asking the 3 most common questions I get all the time regarding my Amazon FBA business. So if you're a beginner looking for some answers to start your FBA business, we'll see if ChatGPT has the answers. So I'll be asking these questions and then giving you my honest perspective whether these answers are in fact true or not. So that way you're not just taking my word for it, you're also comparing that to what this incredible AI system is telling you. So then you can make your informed decision whether if I have any truth to it, whether if ChatGPT has any credibility, and which advice should you be taking when it comes to building an Amazon business. So with that said, let's jump right into ChatGPT and ask it the very first question. So here we are in ChatGPT here, and we're gonna go down here. And by the way, this is absolutely free. If you guys are interested in using, just go on to OpenAI and just look for ChatGPT and go ahead and sign up. Question number 1 that I get asked the most about my Amazon business is how to start an Amazon FBA business. There we go. Wow, here we go. Okay, it's pretty quick here, I might say. So here we go. Let's start from the very top. It says, starting an Amazon FBA business, fulfillment by Amazon, business involves several steps, okay? Step number 1, research and select product to sell, okay? Number 2, source the product. Number 3, create a listing on Amazon. Number 4, ship the product to an FBA fulfillment center. Number 5, market your product. And then on the very bottom it says it's highly recommended to do more research and take a course or consult an expert to understand more about the process and avoid common mistakes. Now the answer to this very first question I asked, well, I was expecting a little bit different answer. I was expecting, how do you actually go about, like, what do you need in terms of creating an Amazon FBA business? Like, first creating a seller account. Do I need an LLC? What tools may I need to get started, to find products, and so on. But in this matter, this specific answer is more already geared towards what's called private labeling a product. It kind of jumps forward to assuming that I already know how and already have all that in place already, and it jumped into how you would find, source, and list a product on Amazon to start selling. So a little bit more different answer than I was expecting, but it is still a very valid answer if you were looking to get into Amazon FBA by doing private labeling a product. And again, from my perspective, this answer is very valid, very true. But if I was searching for a more detailed answer, as opposed to how to actually get started, perhaps I should have rephrased my question as to what do I need to start an Amazon FBA business? So with that said, let's jump on to the second most asked question that I get. So the second question would be, what is the best model to start when selling on Amazon? As you can see, spitting out some very detailed answers very quickly. So let me go ahead and just hide myself and we'll go through one of these one by one. Starting from the top, it says, there are a few different models for selling on Amazon, each with its own advantages and disadvantages. The most popular are, number 1, retail arbitrage. Number 2, online arbitrage. Number 3, private label. Number 4, wholesale. And then at the bottom it says, It really depends on your goal, resources, and time availability. Each model has its own advantages and disadvantages, and it is important to consider which one will work best for you and your business. So now that it spit out a very detailed answer, let's go back in and I'll analyze each one and give you my honest perspective. So looking at number 1 and 2, they're both arbitrage, and it says this involves buying product at a low price from a retail store or other source and reselling it on Amazon for a higher price, which is true. And for number 2, online arbitrage, it's pretty much the exact same, but instead of going to a retail store, you're just buying it online in the comfort of your own home. And now for number 3 is private label. This model involves creating your own brand of product and sourcing them from a manufacturer or supplier. This model usually requires a larger upfront investment, but it can lead to a higher profit margin and more control over your own brand. This is absolutely true, guys. Private label is pretty much you're starting from absolute scratch, from building the product to advertising to creating your own listing, the whole 9 yards. So for number 3, private label, this is absolutely another valid business model. And for number 4, last but not least, wholesale. Let's see what it says. This model usually requires relatively large upfront investment, but it can lead to higher profit margin and wait a minute, that's the same as 3 here. It seems like something got just duplicated here. I agreed up to this point, this last sentence here. So for wholesale, you absolutely do not have control over the brand because you're just reselling name brand products, not your own products. So, and the margins are typically a lot lower than if you were to do private labeling. So I agree with everything all up to the last sentence of this last model, wholesale. Definitely not true. I don't know what happened to ChatGPT. I think that's definitely not it. And for the last sentence, it said it really depends on your goal, resource, and availability. Each model has its own advantages and disadvantages, and it's important to consider which one works best for you and your business. 100% agree with that. So for the second question, it seems like ChatGPT got all 4 of the business model correct. There's retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, private label, and wholesale. So all 4 was correct, minus that little last sentence in number 4 that I definitely do not agree with. So with that said, let's move on to the last question that I get asked all the time about my Amazon FBA business. So the last question is, what should I sell on Amazon? Yeah, believe it or not, this question I get asked a ton, and everybody always want to know, Chan, what do I sell? Help me out. What is it that is profitable? So let's see if ChatGPT can give us a winning product. Wow, that's pretty fast. Look at it go. Look at it go. Look at it go. Come on. Look at that. Okay, there's 1, 2. Okay. Not necessarily what I was thinking, but we'll let it finish and then I'll give my perspective again. Wow, okay. Pretty detailed here. Pretty detailed, ChatGPT. Pretty detailed. Wow. It seems like they're always giving at least 4 example or 4 or 5 bullet points to talk about and with the conclusion. Okay. So let's let me remove myself and then we'll go over one by one again. So number 1 here, let's start from the top here. It says, when deciding what to sell on Amazon, it's important to consider a key factor. Number 1, demand. Look for products that have high level of customer demand. Number 2, competition. Consider the level of competition for the product you are considering. Okay. Number 3, profit margins. Make sure products you choose have enough profit margin to make it worth your while. And I'm not reading through the whole thing, guys. Just as you notice, I'm just kind of getting the key points. Number 4, product size and weight. Consider the size and weight of the product you want to sell, as it will affect the cost of shipping and handling. True, true. Number 5, compliance. Ensure products you have to sell comply with Amazon policy and regulations. And at the very end, it concluded that some popular product categories on Amazon include the electronic, health and personal care, home and kitchen, fashion and beauty, and books. However, it's important to conduct your own research and find a niche that you are passionate about and have a knowledge of. So, reading over the last answer that I got, it's a pretty detailed answer, but again, not exactly what I was expecting, right? Maybe a lot of you guys were probably expecting it should have gave me some product categories, some exact products that I should be looking for based on demand, and it should already find all these. As much as I was hoping to see that, we didn't get that. It just kind of gave us a pretty detailed answer as to what you should be looking for as far as selling a product online. You just want to make sure that it met all these guidelines for you to find success when selling on Amazon. So let's go back in, let's go over one by one again, and I'll give you my perspective again. So number 1, demand. Look for products that have high level customer demand. You should research this by using Google Trends, Amazon bestseller list, and Jungle Scout. Again, I'm already getting the impression that a lot of these answers are pretty, what should I say, private label bias. When you're doing arbitrage or wholesale, you don't necessarily have to worry about Google Trends or Amazon bestseller lists, or even have to use Jungle Scout. You're basically just making sure that the demand is there, the competition is fairly reasonable, and that there's profit margin. That's pretty much it. So let's go on to number 2. It says, consider the level of competition for this product you are considering. If there are already a lot of sellers offering similar product, it may be difficult to compete on price and drive sale. That is true. When you're selling a product, you want to make sure that there's not tons and tons of competitors. So trying to plan ahead and find a product with minimal to no competition will be best. Now let's go on to number 4, product size and weight. Consider the size and weight of the product you want to sell, as it will affect the cost of shipping and handling. Products that are small, light, and non-breakable are usually cheaper to ship, which can help increase profit margins, which is correct. Again, selling product, the bigger, the heavier the product, it's going to cost a lot more during logistics, which cuts down on your profit margin. So now let's go on to number 5, compliance. Ensuring products you plan to sell comply with Amazon policy and regulation. This is pretty important, and yes, it is 100% true, because you don't want to source a product and buy all these inventory, and then last thing, send them in, and then get a notice saying, hey, you're gated and you cannot sell this product. Then you're stuck with all that, and pretty much there goes your business. So making sure the product you want to sell complies with all Amazon compliance and terms of service. And in the summary, it says, some popular product categories on Amazon include electronic, healthcare, and personal care, home and kitchen, fashion, beauty, and books. However, it is important to conduct your own research and find a niche that you are passionate about and have a knowledge of. You don't necessarily need to find products that you're passionate about, honestly. If the numbers make sense, then go ahead and do it. I know tons and tons of sellers, pretty much all they do is make sure the numbers are right, and they launch a product and they find success. So that's just my take, my perspective as a longtime seller. So coming back, after asking all 3 of these questions that I get asked most about my Amazon business, I want to say, in overall, ChatGPT did in fact provide a pretty solid answer to all my questions, but it was just not what I was expecting, I guess. As mentioned before, all the answers seemed very private label biased. I was expecting more of, arbitrage and a wholesale perspective, which definitely didn't give that. And I believe that's probably because if you were to search, whether that be Google or YouTube, on Amazon FBA, a lot of them, majority of them I should say, are private label information. And no fault to ChatGPT AI system, I believe it just pretty much rounded out all the most popular search terms or answer of Amazon FBA, and majority of that was just private label content. So this is just my perspective as a seller, which have done all three: private label, wholesale, and arbitrage. The answer I got from doing this experiment was definitely just private label answers. Definitely not wrong, but definitely not what I was expecting. But definitely let me know in the comments what you were expecting if you're new to Amazon or looking to start Amazon FBA. And hopefully with some of these answers we got from ChatGPT and Mark's perspective could definitely help answer some of the questions you might have if you're looking to start Amazon FBA. So with that said, if you got some value out of this, if you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button and that subscribe so I can continue to bring you more content like this. I'll see you guys in the next one.